you very much, and good evening. I just want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, successful New Year. And then, George, you have an announcement about St. Stan's, I believe?
Yes. This weekend, the St. Stan's parishioners were told that the church now is going to become a minor basilica. There are 2 in the state of Minnesota, and this makes number 70, I believe, in the United States. So special thanks to Father Hargesheimer and the staff he had working on that. So it's a very, very proud moment for St. Stan's, the city of Winona. So okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all I got. Judy, you got some?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I have a couple different items for discussion. Just to bring the city up to date on the frac sand issue, it is something that the city staff has been working on for a number of months. And the current status of the frac sand is as follows. The city will be holding a public meeting in January to receive public comments on the issue. This meeting will be noticed in the news media and on the city's webpage. City staff is working to coordinate information with Winona County and will be attending a county-sponsored joint meeting with surrounding county representatives to share information on frac sand and issues in each county. The city has been collecting information from numerous sources on frac sand and related issues. This information will be shared at this upcoming public meeting. City staff has been working with state agencies who are responsible for regulations and permits for parts of frac sand operations. We continue to work with these agencies to understand the requirements as they affect any operations within the city of Winona. All operations in the city of Winona must meet requirements for state permits such as water, air quality, and all city regulations, including our zoning requirements. Air quality testing for properties at Bison's Quarry, West 2nd Street, and Modern Aggregate are being conducted by a third party and will be shared by the operator with the city. When the city receives those reports, they will be available for review by the public on the city's webpage. A map of frac sand operations will also be available on the city's website in the immediate future. This map will identify operations which currently occur in the city or immediately outside and what activities are proposed at each location. Blasting issues. All testing from blasting operations will also be available on the city's website after the information has been received by the city. The mayor will start appointing a committee at the first meeting in January. Representatives of this blasting committee will include city council members, city staff, neighborhood organization members, and the Bison's Company. The mayor will ask in January for neighborhood and company appointments by those organizations. The committee will solicit information from experts, review the information, and propose solutions acceptable to all parties concerning the blasting issues that have been happening. The committee will begin meeting at an acceptable time to all members starting in January. Over the next couple of weeks, there will be some limited blasting at Bison's Quarry to loosen the sand for their operations over the winter. There will be a West End Neighborhood Watch meeting scheduled for 6 p.m. Tuesday, December 20th at the Winona Area Veterans Center. This meeting will be open to the public. And now I'll call on Chief Bostrek.
Mayor and Council, had some questions about one of our calls over the weekend, and I thought I'd just give you a quick summary of it, and then if there's any questions. It occurred on Saturday morning at about 1:46 a.m. Our officers responded to a call from one of our halfway houses, assisted living houses in town. And sometime just prior to that call, one of their people living there that had some significant mental issues had wandered off as a 21-year-old male. Our officers searched for approximately 2.5 to 3 hours systematically throughout the city and were unable to locate this individual. And they became quite concerned for his safety due to the fact that of his mental state, the weather was very cold, and some inadequate clothing that he was reported to have been left with, which wasn't appropriate for the weather. At that point, they had searched pretty much everywhere that they could reasonably do within the city limits, and they decided to utilize our automated phone calling system, code RED, to solicit some help from the public, and a recorded message was sent out. Actually, it was going to go to within an area within the city, and due to a misentry, it went out to a little bit larger geographic area than we had really wanted at that point. Although a couple of the places that it went to were listed as potential spots for him to go, so it wasn't a total failure. And we rely on the public's input, and we can't search everybody's garage, and those that are willing or able to do that, garages and backyards and anywhere where people may end up that are in need of help like this young man was. It certainly is a benefit for us to use that system. We use it very infrequently, and typically when it's a life-threatening, or what we think is a life-threatening situation, by talking to the people that report it. Into the story on this one, later on that morning, after most people were up, we did receive a call from an individual that recognized the person. That person had received the code red call in the morning, and because they did get that call, they let us know where the person was, and we were able to get them to a safe place and get them in a better environment. So I've had some people that were upset about being woke up. We thank them for their patience and for the help that they gave us, and I've reminded a number of them, it is an individual choice. If somebody wants to be removed from that call list, they can call in and we can work that out. So if there are any questions on that, be happy to answer.
Questions? Okay, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, Monica, call the roll, please.
Mayor Miller.
Here.
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Craig. Alexander. Here. Salyards. Warshakowski.
Here.
White. Here. Under the petitions, requests, and communications, item 3.2 is the Deleska request to vacate a portion of Outlot C of the Creekwood Phase 2. We are looking to set a public hearing for Tuesday, January 3rd.
Move to approve that hearing date.
Okay, moved by George. Is there a second? I'll second. Second by Al. Questions? All in favor of the motion, which is to approve the date for the hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Carried.
Under new business, item 5.1 is the 2002 final levy and budget. There are two resolutions, one for the property tax levy and one for the city budget.
Okay, Mary?
Mayor and Council, this is the final budget for 2012, the official approval, and I can read the numbers so that the public knows what we're talking about. For the city portion, the tax levy at $6,070,486. That's actually a drop of 5% as compared to the 2011 property tax levy. And then the Port Authority is at $458,610, and that's basically about the same, a small drop from the 2011 tax levy.
Okay, any
I'm
questions?
sorry.
Okay, you want to move it?
Sure. I'll move to adopt the final 2012 property tax levy as presented.
Okay, is there a second by Michelle? Questions or comments?
Are you including both resolutions?
Both resolutions?
That's what I meant. Do you want them both separate or together?
It can be together.
All right.
Together
Then
is
also
fine.
and adopt the final 2012 budget. So we both.
Okay, Michelle?
Second.
Okay. Questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, which is to adopt the final 2012 levy and budget. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried.
Item 5.2 are the resolutions for the governmental accounting standards.
Okay, Mary?
This agenda item is basically just kind of a procedural item that I have to have you all sign or approve the resolutions that I have included in the agenda. There's been a change in change by our governmental accounting standards board, which is a national board. To they would like to have better comparability with the fund equity section of a financial report. So what they changed are it's just terminology with, we used to have 3 classifications, like a reserved, unreserved, and undesignated for our fund equity, and now they changed that into 5 different categories. And this does not change the way we've been doing business. It's really just for a presentation standpoint for the audit. But they are requiring council approval. The first item is I have to have a resolution to approve our so-called special revenue funds, and I have those listed on Exhibit 1. In order to have a special revenue fund, there has to be a designated revenue source, and you can see how I have listed these. Many of these are for economic development projects. If we've gotten a grant for some kind of a rehabilitation like downtown, we have a fund for that, and that would be the revenue source. Another one, we have a library memorials fund where memorials have been donated over the years for the library, purpose of the library. That's a special revenue source, for instance. Port Authority, the Port Authority General Fund, basic for sale of property, and we may have a tax levy there. That's considered a special revenue fund, but as I say, I technically now have to have council approval in order to be able to continue to have these revenue funds, special revenue funds.
Okay, you'll find included in your packet kind of an explanation of this Gadsby 54, and I'm sure everybody will study that tonight.
I read it.
Make sure that we're on top of it.
That's right. And there are 3 resolutions that I have to have. The special revenue funds, and then I have to have a special resolution of potential reserve or commitments of fund balance. That's on your Exhibit 2. And then I have to have a special resolution in the file for the official designator to assign fund balance. So those are the 3 that you have here.
Do we include all 3 in one motion, or do
you may?
Want? Okay. Yes. Is there a motion?
I would so move to include all 3 resolutions.
Okay, moved by George. Is there a second? Michelle seconds. Questions or comments?
Just to mention on the last resolution, when it assigns the fund balance, it's at the direction of our finance director.
And that is how it's been working in the past. It was
Right.
just called something different. It's like to assign how much cash flow we might need, like in the general fund, like for the first 6 months that we have enough money to pay the bills. So it was called a designation for cash flow in the past. Now it'll be called assigned for cash flow, for instance.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? You all in favor of the motion, which is to adopt the 3 resolutions regarding the governmental accounting standards. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Carried.
Item 5.3 are the 2011 budget adjustments.
Okay, Mary?
This is just a list of 4 items, kind of cleanup work for our year-end financials. They're kind of self-explanatory. It's the equipment certificates. We sold those in November, and in our budget, we had some of the money budgeted in 2011 and some of the money budgeted in 2012. So I have a request here that we would add to the 2011 budget the amount to equal what we actually sold the bonds for. So that it doesn't look like we are way over with our bond proceeds over what we really had budgeted or what we should be. That's the first one. The second one is Pelzer Street Construction Fund was completed in 2010, and so there's a remaining balance, and that would be put into the Street Reconstruction Fund. Bamanek Field, that construction project is finished, and a small amount of money that's left in there would be split between 2 of the funds that had contributed into that fund for the project. And the last one was just one encumbrance that was missed with a police squad car that was in the 2010 budget and then just didn't get moved over to the 2011. It had been ordered in 2010, but we had not received it yet in 2011 or in 2010. So again, that's just kind of a cleanup for 2011.
Any questions, Al?
Yeah, Pelzer Street, Baminick Field, do you have any idea what those amounts were that are?
The amount remaining in the Pelzer fund is about $400,000.
400?
Mm-hmm. And that would go into the street reconstruction fund. And the amount that's left in the Baminick Field is about $300, a little bit over $300, $320, something like that.
Let's put some zeros on there.
Yeah, no more $320, period.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? This is just for information, right? Or
No, you have to move
No,
something.
no, I need your approval in order, otherwise I can't do anything with the budget. It sits as it is.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the 4 items listed here for the 2011 budget adjustments.
Okay, moved by Debbie. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by George. Questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, which is to approve the 2011 budget adjustments. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Carried.
Item 5.4 is the orderly annexation request for Woodworth.
Move to approve the orderly annexation request for the Woodworth family.
Okay, moved by George. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Debbie. Questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, which is to approve the orderly annexation requests by Nathan Woodworth. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carries.
Item 5.5 is the designation of the official newspaper for 2012. The Winona Daily News is the only bidder with an index number of 22 cents. I would note that's the same price that we paid in 2011.
Move to approve the resolution.
Moved by Al. Is there a second? Second by Michelle. Questions or comments? George?
Even these reporters work for less money. See, it shows here. Thank you.
Picked up on that, George. Any other questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, which is to approve the Daily News as a designated official newspaper for 2012. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, carried.
Item 5.6 are the Library and Recreation Department vacancies.
Is there a motion and then chat?
Move to approve.
Okay, moved by Debbie. Is there a second? Second by Michelle. I know that I think we still have a freeze. I thought we did anyway on any, that we would discuss.
That's why we're
That
here
we
tonight.
would discuss any new hires that come up. So I think Chad is prepared to do that, and he will tell us what would happen if we do or we don't, and then council can make their decision. The motion is to approve. George?
Aren't both these
Should replace.
budget requests, they're already approved in our 2012 budget, correct?
They are.
So the money is already there for these
The money's
positions.
there, but I
correct.
think we still have that, at least I thought we did. I don't think we ever took it off, that any retirees other than fire and police, that before we would hire them, we'd have a discussion and as to why the need, and then council can decide. Like I said, the motion is to fill the 2 vacancies. All right, Chad?
Mayor and council, as noted in your council action, we did have 2 resignations. One resignation of a reference librarian at the Winona Public Library, and the resignation of the recreation coordinator within the recreation department. I'd just like to start with the library position first. This is a position that is important that we fill because of the skill level that the reference librarian brings to the public library. I just want to read you just some statistics here real quick. The Winona Public Library has a service population area of 51,461. And that's something that the state designates as our service area for Winona Public Library. Come January 11th, we would have 1 MLS at the Winona Public Library with this current departure. To give you some frame of reference, Owatonna Public Library has a service population of 36,500. They have 5 full-time MLSs. Faribault has a service population of 34,000. They have 3 full-time MLSs. Austin Public Library, service population of 32,000, 3 MLS positions. Albert Lee Public Library, 30,900 have a service area. They have 2 MLSs. Northfield Public Library, 26,000 is their service area population. They have 2.8 MLSs. Red Wing Public Library, service population of 20,700. They have 3.75 MLSs. Back in 2000, 2008, the Winona Public Library had 5 MLSs. Through some retirements and attrition, we've lowered that number now down to 2. And again, with this recent resignation, we would be down to 1. Again, having that skill set and those abilities certainly is vital to this reference position. That is the library, I guess.
Okay, any questions? Any questions? Okay, Debbie.
I had a question for that position. If this gets approved, are you looking at also internal applicants for the reference librarian position?
We would post it internally, but again, one of the qualifications would be the Masters of Library Science.
Right. So that's my second question. Is there, many positions will say in lieu of a, certain level of education, experience could be in lieu of that. Is that part of their criteria for this, or?
No.
They have to have a master's?
In library science. Yep.
Library science.
Any other questions on the librarian? Okay, next would be the recreation.
Next is the recreation coordinator. And again, this position is vital for us to maintain, to continue the service, the large base of participants we have involved in our programs and special events, especially going forward in the future as we continue to grow our programs. Not to mention the current programs that we have. We're going to hear some of those numbers here in a minute in the next council action item, but just to go over some of these, we serve over 30,000 participants in 1 year just in our youth programming. Now, some of those are duplicated numbers. That doesn't mean that, if someone would attend the aquatic center and then would go to Lake Lodge Ice Skate, they might get counted twice, but those unduplicated numbers are over 30,000 individuals per year. And so this position is certainly responsible. The recreation coordinator has a vital role in the aquatic center, the training, the certification, certainly of all the youth programming that we do. The other comment that I wanted to make is that our recent budget cuts in the recreation department have been really part-time staff. So we've really reduced the number of part-time staff and put some of those duties back onto the full-time staff as well. The other thing that I certainly wouldn't want to guarantee but would want to make mention of is that the position, if it is approved, there would be a potential cost savings in the budget just because we typically start at 80%. So that would just be a 1-year cost savings again. Can't necessarily guarantee a full savings, but that's typically the procedure that we followed in the past. Again, if you have any questions about
questions, Debbie?
You may have said this, but I'm not positive. So for this position, again, the recreation coordinator, I know you said what we've part-time is we've consolidated that, and a lot of those duties were, I'm assuming, put also onto the recreation coordinator, so they're taking on those extra positions that are vacated at this time.
That's correct.
Al, question? Any other questions? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Thank you. Chad. All in favor of the motion, which is to approve filling the library and recreation department vacancies. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Carried.
Item 5.7 is the policy for reporting suspected child neglect and abuse. And there was a slight revision to this. It was distributed to the council and media.
Okay, I'll just explain how this came about. After observing a lot of the news media and things that's been happening in the last few months, and then actually being kind of advised by one person in the public and then other people in the public, I thought that this should be something we should look at. So I met with staff, and Chad, you want to take it from there and come up with why staff and I felt this was important, and members of the community felt it was important.
Mayor and council, certainly as the mayor's alluded to with the events certainly surrounding Penn State that brought this policy to the forefront. The purpose of the policy is for employees, volunteers, and representatives of the city of Winona to report suspected child neglect, physical or sexual abuse while they are involved in city activities. So the policy outlines some general definitions about what we would define as abuse, and then we outline the reporting requirements of staff to report the suspected abuse. So reporting to their supervisors, their supervisors then are reporting it to law enforcement. We've also added a clause in reporting requirements if any of the employees or representatives feel that a child is in imminent danger, that they immediately call 911. And then, of course, we have some consequences if the reporting or the suspected abuse is not reported. As I just alluded to, we just simply like to say that obviously with the Recreation Department and library serving thousands of youth each year, we highly recommend that you adopt this policy.
Okay, got that before you. Is there a motion to adopt or not adopt?
I would move to adopt policy.
Moved by Al, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Debbie?
Yeah.
Okay, questions or comments?
I didn't hear.
George?
You know, I certainly understand all this, and just speaking on whole, you know, this is a very, very, you know, shameful time for our entire country. You know, governments and schools, and you wonder why you drive up, you know, government budgets. You have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for hidden cameras and videos and things to watch people, you know, not only on, you know, throughout the country. It's just, you know, where in the hell is the society going to? You know, young children can't go out anymore. You know, sometimes, as I say, vulnerable adults have trouble going out. It's just simply a sad time for our society. I mean, I support this. Yes, we do need it, but it's just a sad time.
Okay, I just want to thank the one person that brought this to my attention, and I want to thank staff. I know a lot of time went into this. They wrestled with, you know, with a lot of things as to make sure, and the police were involved, attorneys were involved, and like George said, it's a sad thing, but I think it's important that we do this. Okay, all in favor of the motion, which is to adopt the policy for reporting suspected child neglect and abuse. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Item 5.8 is to increase the budget for Winona Transit for 2011.
Keep the buses running.
So move that request.
Moved by George. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Al. Questions or comments? Monica, who does the repairs?
We currently have the operations contracted to Three Rivers.
Okay.
And they have a part-time mechanic that does minor things like oil changes and changing light bulbs. For more significant repairs, they've contracted with Jim's Truck and Trailer. And so they are doing a majority of the repairs on the buses.
Okay. Does Arlen ever, do you ever check just to see what the bills are to make sure they're okay? You know, it might not be a bad idea for Arlen to just look at them to make sure that, you know, you have a pretty good handle on what's done, and just second set of eyes maybe looking at it might not be a bad idea.
As would note, we did have a number of major issues with the diesel buses this year, and those are from 2007. The turbos went out on both of those diesel engines. The other big repair on a couple of the buses was they had to repair the air conditioning mounts because with the Safe Ride, the passengers are hanging onto the they were almost pulled through the ceiling. And then a number of brake jobs the beginning of the year and more recently.
It's the only way they can stay vertical.
You got to have brakes.
All right, questions or comments? How's our ridership been?
Our ridership is up in almost all areas,
Okay,
both the college and the regular routes.
okay, good.
Your Honor?
Yep.
I was thinking that, Monica, again, how many bicycles can go on the rack again on the bus? Is it 2, do you know, 2, 3?
I believe it's at least 2.
At least 2, right, something.
You got a bike, why do you need to ride the bus?
People use it, it's important, you
They
know.
lock their bikes up down
They
in
do,
front of transit too, and
Yeah, but I think it's good the public knows that you can transport
transfer
your
your
bike
bike.
on there, because that's pretty recent, I think, the last few years that we had that.
Is the safe sober ridership up too, or?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay, any other?
About 10% over last year.
10%?
Really? Okay.
Fires are doing good. Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, which is to approve the increased budget for the transit. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, carried.
Item 5.9 is the 2011 East 2nd Street reconstruction, certification of completion and final estimate.
I would move to approve that resolution accepting the work and for the 2011 East 2nd Street project.
Okay, moved by George. Is there a second?
second.
Second by Michelle. Questions or comments? George?
Yes, 2nd Street now looks very nice from Franklin all the way down,
Yep,
so.
it does. They
Very
did a
good.
good job. Al?
Just wondering, I noticed at least as I'm reading this, hopefully properly, the amount from the original contract and what we're authorizing is actually less. Any reason for that? Just my own curiosity. Those of others who might be interested.
Mayor and council, with any project of this size, there's always it's not exact science. What do they find in the ground? They'll have a less of some things. You notice there's a change order here where they actually have added some quantities and some dollar amount, but this more, they went the other direction. So it's never an exact amount.
Okay, well, it's nice to go in our favor, the taxpayers' favor.
Okay, any other question, George?
Yeah, just one question. Chief, how are we doing with truck traffic now on 2nd Street? I know there was complaints at first, which I know this is not a truck route. I know the police were monitoring down there. I have not heard much on it unless if someone else has heard anything, but I know, your squads were out there.
We've done some extra checks in the area, stopped a few, and I think one of the companies down there is making some alterations so that they don't make wide turns and cut across a couple individuals' yards or driveways, so I think that's helping too.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, which is to approve the 2011 East 2nd Street reconstruction certification of completion and final estimate. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay.
Item 5.10 is the purchase of the sewer jetter rodder vehicle.
Move to approve the purchase.
Okay, moved by Debbie. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by George. Questions or comments?
Yeah, is VAC, I see Arlen is here. Arlen, is Vactor the only bidder or the only vendor for this kind of equipment?
No, we actually narrowed it down to 2 vendors, and we had 5 demo units brought in over the course of the last year, looking at all the different options, and this is a consensus vote by the staff and myself. This was the unit to get.
Is this something that they've had this brand of equipment before, correct?
Not this,
Not this one.
this brand of equipment here we had back in the early 80s.
Okay.
We replaced it with the present unit we have, and now we're going back to this one.
Okay, thank you.
Pretty neat picture here. Okay, any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, we do. Okay. Questions or comments? George?
I would just like to have someone say sewer jetter rodder vehicle 10 times as fast as you can.
All right, all in favor of the motion, which is the purchase of the thing George just said. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Carried.
Item 5.11 is the 2011 police officers' labor agreement. This includes a 0 wage increase, the previously approved health insurance, and a shift differential which includes all hours worked between 6:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m.
I would move to approve the labor contract.
Moved by George, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Al, questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, which is to approve the 2011 police officers' labor agreement. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, carried.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
Okay, we'll start with Al.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd like to thank staff again and those who attended last week's meeting at St. Mary's, especially extending thanks to St. Mary's for the use of their facilities for this gathering. And this is just the start of our whole exploration of this topic, and hopefully the result will be something we can all live with. And happy holidays, Hanukkah on Wednesday, Christmas on Sunday, and Kwanzaa on Monday.
Okay, thank you, Al. Michelle? Debbie?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like, I talked with Councilmember Craig, he unfortunately can't be here tonight, but we both want a 1-hour pre-council meeting in January on the frac sand issue. Kind of just an open discussion. I know city attorney will be there and whatnot, so I'd see what we can get. I'd appreciate it if staff would get that scheduled, let us know. Because there's a lot that we, to learn about it, we have a lot to catch up on that we don't know. And of course, we are all aware of that there's been several concerns and questions about this issue. And also, again, happy Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year, and safe travels.
Do you want that council meeting before the public meeting or after the public meeting? 'Cause-
I think it would be probably better before.
Okay, so that'll put off when we have the public meeting. Judy, okay, set that up first.
You have a pre-council in the first meeting, right?
Correct.
And that's an hour.
So we want to take that one to just January 19th?
Whatever, if you want the council meeting before the public meeting, we will do that. So it'll just delay the public meeting, okay? All right. So the public meeting on FRAC will be probably early February then, or if it's the 19th.
You can still do it
Oh,
in January.
Right.
Well, we'll see.
We'll-
Okay,
we'll
we'll
fix
see.
And it gives you
Yeah.
more time to get speakers and everything
Okay.
else too.
Okay, sounds good. That it?
Yes.
George?
Okay, Wall Street, the intersections are now open, all 3 of them, and everything looks good except for the blacktop will be done this coming spring, of course, but if you drive over them, you don't notice anything, they're there, they're repaired, so it's just like you don't even feel nothing when you go over them now, so a very, very good job by all those that worked on it, and if the entire project, like I say, will all be completed in the spring of the year, but job well done. And I just simply, again, just like to tell everyone or wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Hanukkah, everything else that goes in there, and see you all next year. Thank you.
I'd second that Wall Street. I think George should have a lot of credit. Keith worked on that. I think between George and Keith and the railroad should get credit. At least they listened, right?
Yeah,
and they
a lot of meetings
one of
on
the few
it.
times that the railroad listened and actually came through and did something. And good job.
But we have 3 more to go yet.
3 more to go.
Under the consent agenda, there are 2 items. Item 8.1 is approval of the minutes from the 2 meetings on December 5th. And item 8.2 is a claim against the city by Catherine Krause.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, moved by Al. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by George. All in favor of the consent, which is the minutes and 1 claim. All in favor say aye.
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 I'll move to adjourn.
Moved by Debbie. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by George. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, carried. Thank you very much. So we'll set that public meeting up later.
That gives us time to see what kind of people, because I think there may
Yeah,
be
I
some
don't-
input from the community that may know other experts.
And I don't
Blasting,
set the
I'm
meeting
going to
up
set
until we
that
have
committee
the
up next meeting.
Right, I mean, we didn't give a date anyway. For
Nope.
the meeting.
Well, they can do that.
And I think that we, the public.
Judy,